When I first started at Fremont, I remember a pastor from another church close by reaching out to introduce himself, welcome me, and try to get something set up so we could grab coffee. And I told him I'd love to, but I was so busy I just couldn't right now. But once this particular busy season passed, then I would. So he'd follow up with me a few weeks later and to try to set up a time to get together. And of course, I was too busy, but told him to follow up later. And on this went for months. When I first started my role here at Fremont, I thought I had a very clear idea of what my time should look like. Right? I knew that if I was preaching, I needed to seclude myself away. I knew, like, when I was writing the lengthy life group outlines, I needed to do the same. Or if I was teaching at college group, that meant that I basically had to put off any aspects of interaction with people until all those tasks were finished. Well, in the last few years, God has really shifted my perspective in the most beautiful ways. And as we dive into 1 Thessalonians 2 today, I want us to be so encouraged by these words of Paul. He's going to talk about sharing our very lives with people. So I'm going to read from chapter 2, verses 7 and 8. Instead, we were like young children among you. Just as a nursing mother cares for her children, so we cared for you. Because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. Right? Paul was someone who knew how to share the gospel. Paul knew how to complete tasks. Paul knew how to be efficient with his time. Paul knew how important doctrine and teaching was. Yet combined with all those things, Paul grasped the relational aspect of ministry, the relational aspect of life. He says, because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our own lives as well. Paul didn't neglect sharing the gospel, but neither did he neglect the essential component of life-on-life discipleship. Over the last few years, God has been showing me the increasing value of relationships. And by relationships, I don't mean mere socialization, but intentional time to be present, proximate, and pursuing spiritual growth together. God has shown me that some of the most life-giving moments and some of the most formative times have come not from completing a task, but by being with someone. Right? Let's look at what it means to share our lives together. First, it means to be available. It means to look for opportunities to care for people. It means being willing to engage in hard things, even if you don't have all of the answers. It means being willing to be interrupted from your tasks. It means a willingness to be inconvenienced at times. It means sharing your faults with people. It means speaking hard and loving truth to people, even if it's hard to say or hard to hear. It means being okay if your initial meetup with someone doesn't seem like a home run. Right? Your consistent investments in small ways may lead to big dividends when something major happens or a big life decision needs to be made. And finally, it's being reminded that Christ is present with us by his Spirit. And therefore, we don't have to put all the pressure on ourselves to have the perfect words to speak, just a willingness to share our very lives along with the gospel of God.